Why, hello everyone. Welcome to the program we call Illumination. We come from the library of Sunset Lodge 369 right here in sunny Santa Monica, California. Yeah, summertime has hit us and we're having fun. It's great having you guys with us today, and thank you for the honor of that. If you want to get in touch with us, we are wide open to have communication from you. You can go to our website, that is sunsetmasoniclodge.org. That's sunsetmasoniclodge.org. Or go to our, send us an email, should I say. Send us an email at sunsetmasoniclodge369@gmail.com. That's sunsetmasoniclodge369@gmail.com. Any and all communication we love to have from you. Just to let you know, we are here most Tuesday nights, starting at 6:30 with a meal and 7:30, whatever you're doing, whether it's a degree, a practice, or a stated meeting, that's basically Masonic talk for our business meeting. No matter what, whether you're a Mason or not, if you're a Mason and you're coming through, please stop by and see us. We'd love to see you. And if you happen not to be a Mason, look us up, come by at 6:30, have a meal with us, and we'd love to chat with you on whatever you want to talk about. Our guest tonight is someone, by the way, on this night, we are celebrating here at our lodge Independence Day. For those of you outside of the States, that is usually on July the 4th, when we declared our independence from Britain. And it's a wonderful celebration here in the States, and we're having a celebration. And lo and behold, we had a guest come by, and this gentleman was just talking and sharing some great stories. And while I was listening to him, I was thinking, man, I got to have him on our podcast. I want to introduce to you our guest. His name is Brother Jerry Finley, and he's from the Beach City Lodge in Manhattan Beach, California. Brother Jerry, it's great having you aboard here.
Thank you for having me tonight.
It's great to see you.
Good.
By the way, and thank you for coming by. It was such an honor to see you come. What got you to come over tonight?
I've come a couple of times. I'm in the Eastern Star that we have here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was an officer. This year I'm not. And I've been invited a few times to come, and so I figured tonight would be a good time to come. I heard you're having some good food and figured I'd come try it out.
Oh, the ribs were great, weren't they?
Yes, they were, and I've met a couple of the brothers before here.
All right.
So I come to this lodge once a month.
All right, real good. Now, one of the things I like to find out about, tell us about you growing up. Where did you grow up? What was life like for you?
I was born in New York in a little town. I was born in Poughkeepsie and lived in a little town called Moores Mills, Pleasant Valley. And I went to a one-room school there for a couple of years, and then we moved to California. And I grew up in the South Bay area, it's called, of L.A., and I've been there the rest of my life pretty much in the different cities, just moving around. I went to elementary school there, and then from the elementary school, I went to high school there, a school called Lawndale High.
That's all right.
Yeah, okay. Lusinger High School. Lawndale was a I live in Lawndale, that's what made
There you go, that's all right.
So I've been there. I worked in aerospace, and then I worked for the school district. Pretty much.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, how did you find out about Masonry?
Well, I met this young lady.
Well, that happens all the time, doesn't it? Yes.
Way back at my church of all places, and she was a rainbow girl.
Wow.
Yes, and through her and her family, I was introduced. I finally grew up and married a lovely lady.
Oh, that's great.
So yes, we were married for 43 years. I lost her about 5 years ago. So yes, but through her and her family, her grandfather over-encouraged me to become a Mason, and her stepdad, he was a past master, and he also was a worthy patron in Eastern Star.
Right.
And so with his influence, I finally became a member. And her mother was also a past worthy matron.
Wow.
And both of them held the office several times. My wife, she became in Rainbow a grand officer. She became the first grand historian of
Wow.
California back in 1970. I believe 1970. I believe
She was
it
the first one, huh?
She was the very first one. And that's the grand historian record and takes pictures of everything of that year and puts it in permanent record. If you go online in the rainbow, you can see her there.
History in the
Yeah.
making. There you go.
So
That's awesome.
yeah.
That's good. Okay, so you have all these family members, the in-laws, so to speak, pushing you, kind of tugging you along, maybe pushing the line a little bit there, what they're supposed to ask you for and so
Right.
forth. But it was still awesome.
Yeah.
What was it like when you first really connected with Freemasonry?
Well, see, because I kind of grew up and attended a lot of the meetings, and I went to all their functions that non-Masons could go to, and I even actually helped cook at some of the barbecues and stuff, even though I wasn't a member.
How old were you during this time?
I probably was first introduced to Masonry because they wanted me to become a DMLA. They encouraged me. I would say I was 14, 15 years old.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
When I first was introduced, but it took me a long. I was a slow one to come in. I wasn't one of the ones that came in over and jumped right in.
Yeah.
I took my time jumping in.
So you were saying that you did a lot of things in the lodge in the meantime.
Yeah, mainly I did it with like the Rainbow Girls, of course, and I did it with the Eastern Star because I knew them, and I went to some of the Masons dinners that you talked about.
Oh,
you know, they used to have one in the old Inglewood Lodge, which is no longer there. They used to have a steak dinner every year, and it was they would have different speakers. There was a speaker, I don't remember his name, I was pretty young then, that used to do the wrestling. He was on the radio, talked about.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Well, he was always the host. And it was a big turnout. I remember you couldn't park for blocks away, and they had one of the best steak dinners there. And that was one of their yearly, noted for back in the 70s and early 80s, the big thing for the Inglewood Lodge to do.
Wow. So you were talking about you were around it for a long time before you became a member. What was your thoughts during that time? Why didn't you just jump in like a lot of people do?
Well, my wife's grandfather broke a little rule that we're, as Masons, don't supposed to do. We don't supposed to ask. We're supposed to, you ask us, we don't ask you.
Right.
And he
to
was...
be one, ask one.
Yeah, to be one, to ask one. You can't be one unless you ask. Well, he kind of, in his own about way, to keep the rules safe, didn't ask, just told me what he would do if I did become one. And he wanted to move me up the line real quick, and I wasn't interested in the line. I like the help person. I don't like to be the leader. I don't mind following. I'm one of those.
Right.
Even though I do lead in some of the stuff.
Sure.
And so I was hesitant because by that time, I was married to the lovely lady, and I had children, and I was more interested in taking care of children. I had a job that I worked long hours. So between my hours and that, I thought it would be too much for me. I do have to say, I look back on it, I would have probably joined 10, 15 years earlier. But that's being said, I am now a member.
Well, I think you kept your priorities straight.
So
I don't think there's anything wrong with that at all.
Well, the Masons do teach family first.
Yes.
Family first. We are a charitable organization that tries to make good men better. That's one of our slogans, is to make good men better.
And you're doing great right there. So. You had so many fun stories about when you first became a Mason. You got any that come to mind?
I've lost track on which one. I had a father-in-law that was very into. He was a worthy patron
right.
for many years,
right.
but he was also a past master.
Wow. Okay.
He was the master of the El Segundo Lodge back in 1974, and I was at his meetings and that I was allowed to attend,
right.
and at his installation and stuff. And so used to have a lot of fun helping then. And then once I did get very involved in the different committees. You'll see that you have many committees that we have. We have school committees for the schools. We have committees for our elderly. We have a retention committee. We have several committees at the different lodges, and some lodges have different ones. I'm on the Child ID committee for that we have a program.
Oh, the Child ID.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about that. People who don't know what that is.
What we do is we go to fairs, schools, cities. I was just before I came here tonight. The city of Hawthorne, a member from there, called me and asked me in August to do one at the city on their night out. It's called, where you go to the city and you have the blackout type of a deal.
Sure.
And they asked me if I ID children there. And what we do is we take their fingerprints and picture. We don't keep the information, and we give a little printout for them. And then we show them on the backside, which we talk about the most, safety tips for the parents to remember when they're out and about, and safety tips for the kids to learn, like don't talk to strangers, never get in a car, that type of thing. And then the steps to do in case their child gets lost. And it's just more of a reminder thing, but it's also a way for us to reach out to the community to let them know if we're there, we can help them.
Now, just to reiterate, you do not keep any of the info.
No, we for a fact we use a very old Dell computer to let them know that, look, this computer can't even handle that.
Yeah.
And we stress that very much. We do not keep any of the information. For a fact, we have a place where we can ask the name and stuff. We tell them we don't even know the name of the child, where they live. That's for them to take home and fill out later, because we just are doing a community service that may help them get their child back if they get lost.
Now, do parents pretty much accept this? Do they really take it in for the most part?
I would say 80% do. You know, there's a few skeptics.
Of course.
There's very few that says, oh, we heard of you guys, and, you know, and so he says, okay, fine. This is free. Nobody's forcing you. We move on. But most of them come back and say, thank you. We have what we call our return customers. I've had some that we're in 3 different cities close by, and I've had them in each one, and they says, oh, we're just renewing it. Is it okay? Yes.
Wow.
I even have a funny story. We were at one that it was the health fair is also a pet fair. It's a health for people and pets at the same time in one city. They put them both together. And one of the ladies walked up and had a puppy, and she says, this is my child. Would you ID him? We weren't busy, so we tried. And we actually got a little something of a print.
Oh, wow, yes.
And I'll tell you what, if you wanted somebody to sell Freemasonry, the lady the rest of the day stood there and told everybody how thankful she was that I took the picture of her dog and did her paw prints.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So I've always counted when I do and it says, don't forget we did one dog. And we have done senior citizens with Alzheimer's. It's a program that we don't have any have to do certain way. It's more fun too. It's a good time to have fellowship with the other Masons and get to know them and their lives.
So it's not just for children. It could be for anyone. Huh?
That's right.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, we've had a few that they says this person's got dementia, this person's got, and I say fine. And I've had adults say, well, can I just do it? I've never turned one down. It's inexpensive for us to do, and I think it's good PR to just say yes. It's
wow.
And it's fun. We have we joke, well, if you get lost, it's just a fun thing to do.
That's wonderful. That's good. It's good to hear. Let's take a break here for a second. I want to remind everybody this is the program Illumination. We come from the library of Sunset Lodge 369 in Santa Monica, California. If you'd like to reach us, we are here willing and able to receive communication from you. You can do one or two ways. You can contact us via our website, which is sunsetmasoniclodge.org. sunsetmasoniclodge.org. Or if you want to send us an email, we love to hear from you. That is sunsetmasoniclodge369 at gmail.com. That's sunsetmasoniclodge369 at gmail.com. Any and all communication is welcome. And by the way, I want to thank you for being here. I didn't mention this earlier. My name is Les Jones. Behind the board and producing the entire program, he is the backbone of this program, is Brother Michael Walbach. And Brother Michael, thank you so much for all the work you do for us. Our guest is Brother Jerry Finley from Beach City Lodge in Manhattan Beach. I met him tonight, and we were sitting around with a couple of other brothers, and Brother Jerry was just saying telling some great stories. And I said, I want to get you on my podcast.
Thank you.
And you're just a lot of fun to be around.
Thank you.
And you had some great stuff. So I know about what you were saying about people pushing you a little bit, maybe pushing the line a little bit to join Masonry. That's exactly what my dad did to me. Just really, suggesting it, just pushing it a little bit.
Well, let me say this, though. That's because he cared.
Yes.
At the time, being younger, you didn't see that. You're seeing, come on, I've got more things in my life to do to take the time to do this. And it was because he did say, he says, you need this. This will make you a better man. So he was looking for my better interest. And I just missed that he passed on before I became a member, and that was always not my father-in-law. He was at he was at all three of my risings and stuff. So that was a good thing. And but my wife's grandfather, who wanted me the most, he did not get to see that, unfortunately. But he showed me the difference of Masonry. He was a very good man.
Tell me about this. What did he show you?
Well, he was a very caring man and kind, and he was always helping. He always wanted to make sure, everybody was taken care of in the family and stuff. He was always, are you okay? Do you need anything? He was very generous, kind man.
That reminds me so much of my step grandfather, I think, my stepmom's dad. Is a remarkable man. He has passed on since, but I know I went walking, and I will forget, walking with him where he worked at the time. Mm-hmm. He worked for a local oil company there in Houston, and he was pretty tall on the ladder. Yeah. I know I was walking with him, he explaining, people all but come to attention when he walked in. Yeah. But he was very soft-spoken, very caring, and not too many people like that in the world anymore.
Right. He was a retired carpenter by the time I knew him.
Oh, wow.
And he always wanted to go fishing. So every weekend he would get the boat ready and have it all ready for me. He didn't even have I liked fishing, but right. He made sure I didn't have an excuse for not to go fishing with him. So I was his fish buddy.
There you go.
And
all right, good deal. You got a lot of good stuff going on. Okay, so let's say you finally decided, okay, I'm going to do this thing. What got you finally to decide? You were on the sidelines for a long time. You were doing some very important work for our lodge, for the lodge you were a part of. What got you to go across that line and finally say, I want to do this?
Well, I was attending the meetings and not a member. So when it came to the closed meetings that, unless you're a member, you can't go into, I had to stay outside. So I says, why am I staying out here? I know everybody. Everybody knows me. I might as well become a member. And my wife's father at that time was health was failing him, and his eyes wasn't there seeing, so I had to drive him there. So I would be going to the meetings I normally wouldn't have gone to, and I'd stay out. So I says, I know everybody. My wife's a member. My daughter's a member. I might as well become a member.
There you go.
I became a member. My wife always, she wasn't like my father-in-law. She believed that I had to join on my own, like the Masonic said. So she never said anything. And I had the attitude, I didn't tell you this outside, that she didn't want me to join.
Oh, I bet.
And so I came home and told her I got the papers and I'm going to join. And she says, "Oh, really?" And I go, "Yeah." So next day I came home and she had gone out and got me 2 new suits.
Wow.
And I said, "I thought you didn't want me to join." "No, I didn't supposed to act that way. I didn't. You had to join on your own." So I got to say, we had been married for quite a few years, and she would never make a move on having me join because she wanted me to do it on my own.
What an awesome woman.
So she did that, and but the moment I did, she went right there behind me on it.
That's great.
And was very happy for me.
Okay, so there wasn't much of an investigation committee on you because everybody knew you already, huh?
Well, they still have to do the
Yes, of
investigations.
course,
Yes, but the gentleman who came to the door already knew me and already, yes. The people who I walked in, like Lester, he's gone on also.
Sure.
As he walked me in my first time, the walk that we do. He whispered over, he says, "Wouldn't you wish Watt was here?" Which was my wife's grandfather. And I says, "Yeah." And so that was when you walk in the first day, that's how I was let in with him. And that's what he whispered to me.
I bet he was there.
Yeah.
In spirit, you know.
He was one of my father-in-law's best friends. So he was one who took me and introduced me. And I had already known the man for 20-some years that took me in. So
that's awesome. Okay, so you decided you're going to be a part of this, and you do your first degree. What was that like for you?
It was not too different. I kind of already had the hints and stuff of what was going to happen and stuff, and so it wasn't a big surprise like it is with most people what it goes, and it was an awakening type of a deal, saying, "Oh, this is what they do. This is, and it was interesting.
Really, I know Brother Michael brought this up, and I didn't really think about it until he brought it up. The very first time I ever stepped into a lodge room is when I got my first degree, and you know what goes on before. And that was the very first time I saw the inside of a lodge room. And I know nowadays it's very acceptable to give people tours of the lodge. I think there's something special with the idea that I never saw the inside of a lodge until I got my degree itself.
See, that I was already familiar with the lodge.
Of course.
Not that particular lodge, because I didn't join the same lodge as my father-in-law did. He was a stickler that you joined a lodge that's nearest your home and in your area. And his lodge wasn't in my area. So he had me join a different lodge. But one thing that people don't realize, when you become a member of one lodge, you become a member of all lodges, basically. Yes. You don't get to vote at those other lodges, but it's a big family. They're your cousins.
They're your brothers.
There's your brothers. And I use word because, even though you have never met them, you go to another lodge, as soon as you walk in the room, you feel like you've been there 20 years.
That really is true. It's amazing because people don't understand that.
Yeah, because it's something that you're taught in Masonry, is that once you become a brother of Masonry, everybody looks at you as if you've known them for 20 years, and they treat you that way, most of them.
That's right. Okay, we talk about the first degree. What about your second degree? What was that like for you?
That was more interesting. You're getting more of what they call enlightenment. They use the word enlightenment of the craft and stuff. It's more of you learn more each step. It's a stepping as you go up. It's like going into another grade in school. You go from junior high to high school. It's a different world. It's a different opening. That's one way to describe it.
I absolutely, people here are probably tired of hearing me say this, but I absolutely love the second degree. I'm the senior deacon of our lodge, so I'm a big part of that, but I love that degree.
Yes.
The richness of it is beyond anything that I can explain.
I don't know what I can say on the radio. That's why I said it's different. It's a different, yes.
That's great. Okay. And so the big one of them all, the third degree. Tell me about that. What was it like going through that, and what was it like afterwards?
To me, I liked the third degree more. Everybody likes the second. The third degree was more interesting. Like, what are they doing? What is this? Why are they doing it? And they explain everything to you as you go. And it's very different, for being, I don't know what I'm allowed to say that
Yeah,
way.
you're doing well right there.
Yeah. It's an experience that you don't forget, none of it. And you'd learn that the people really care about you. On your third degree, those that are not in the degree, you have people, what they call in the audience. And they come there when you're having a third degree just for you. And you learn that everybody's in that room, and you have 20 or 30 brothers at least in that room. And they're all there just for you. They let you know that you're that special. And that the whole thing, that whole night, you don't know this going in, but it was designed just for you.
You know, I feel so fortunate with that, because when I got my third degree, my dad and stepmom flew in from Houston. My dad was a part of my third degree.
Okay, yes.
And there were some problems with the flight and this and that. We had to reschedule it. Big kudos to Brother Michael. He was the one who set it up for me. He called past masters up and said, hey, there's the son of a past master who needs to have his third degree. Can you make it? My entire third degree was done completely by past masters of our lodge.
Yes, they have that every year. They usually do something like that. That's fantastic.
To this day, I am still blown away by that.
Yeah.
How fortunate, I'm getting goosebumps even thinking about it. How fortunate am I? It's really good to be around people that are 32-degree Masons and all that. These are people that are trying to learn more. But there's something very special about being around a past master. And these gentlemen gave up their time just for me. And I still go, whoa, when I think about it.
To become a past master, you have had to put years of hard work in. If a person says they're a past master, you know they've given a lot of good time to charity.
In life.
And life. And to people. They're a good person.
Well, we've talked about the 3 degrees. How about today? What does Masonry mean to you today?
Fellowship is one of the first things come to mind. And friendship. And brotherly love. They're there. Those are the ones that, as I say, I had lost my wife 5 years ago. And at the same time, I had just had surgery. And they were there for me. I kind of joked when I got home, before I got home from work after everything happened, they were already in cars, bringing me food, taking care of me, helping me with the funeral arrangements, and my needs were taken care of.
That's what it's about, isn't it?
I always think I tell them they were there for me when I needed help.
That's awesome.
At the same time that my wife was being sick, I had hurt myself and had to have my Achilles tendon replaced.
Sure.
And the brothers made sure that if I needed anything like a wheelchair or anything, I didn't, but they says, we'll get it. Whatever you need, we'll take care of you.
That's right.
And they took care of me during that time. And they called on a regular basis. Do you need this? Do you need that? And even if I said I didn't need it, they still made sure I got it.
Excellent. Brother Jerry, so great to have you aboard. Our guest has been Jerry Finley of the Beach City Lodge in Manhattan Beach. Thank you for being a part of this. You are listening or watching Illumination. Thank you so much for being a part of this. It's been a pleasure today. Thank you to Brother Michael for his help. My name is Les Jones. Until next time, you have a great one.